So that one don't want to go live. Let's go back to that. That one is going live.
We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy following the blues. We love you, what more can we say? Birmingham's the team, down at St Andrews. We are all supporters of our team. We chant the Super Blues, ringing all around. Now all you blue boys know what we mean. We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy following the blues. We love you, what more can we say? Let's hear you in the pub, singing our song, helping and sharing the load. It's worth the point at all when we sing together. We're there at the end of the road. We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy following the blues. We love you, what more can we say? We have the team that's tops here at St Andrews. They gotta give us what we're longing for. It's
Okay, Nick.
Birmingham forever. Let's hear it from the stand. So come on, City.
Till we don't know when, we don't care when we finish, we haven't got a clue. It doesn't really matter. We are one game away from either being a championship club next season or dare I say, dropping down into League One. Wycombe Wanderers have just come up, for goodness sake. Wycombe Wanderers have just got promotion. Coventry, who play at our ground, could be in the championship, and we could be in League One playing at our ground as a League One side. How do we feel about that? I know how I feel. I ain't going to rant like I did last week, but I might, if you wind me up, if I get going, I might. Because I tell you what, one game, one single solitary game, yet again, the last game of the season for time after time after time of being a Birmingham City fan for the last 10 years since we won the Carling Cup, 11 years, whatever it is. This is mad. This is mad. This is not right. Something has to be done. Something has to be done now. But welcome to the Tilton Talk Show, ladies and gents. It's Monday night, 7:30. Here we go. And, of course, sponsored by Boyle Sports, the principal sponsors of Birmingham City Football Club, and in conjunction with our good friends at Bawdsey Labour Club and, of course, SAS Autos. We've had a complaint, ladies and gents. I'll talk about that in a moment. But in the meantime, I'm going to introduce everybody. Welcome, Mrs. Brown. And the one and only Paul Hipkiss, a.k.a. Mr. Sheen.
Good evening, all.
And, of course, Mark. He's back with his dressing gown on, so he's now going to be called Mr. Robe. Mark.
Good evening.
And, of course, the legend, ladies and gentlemen, that is the 1991 Cup winner, the one and only Mr. Ian Clarkson. Welcome, Ian.
Welcome, Nick. Thank you very much for the intro.
Oh, mate, I tell you what, 1991, let's just go back all those years. And I know some of our listeners are too young to remember it, but my golly, what a day. What a build-up. What a everything about that day for me was just so damn special. I always used to walk up the Kop back in the 70s and early 80s and through the 80s thinking, will this team ever make that journey down to Wembley? And I was convinced that if they did, I'd have the worst migraine ever and I wouldn't be able to go.
What a day it was.
Tell you what, we made it all the way down there. My car was, well, I could send you the photographs of my car back in the day. It was just flags coming off it, ribbons coming off it, everything going down the old M1, pipping the horn to keep right onto the end of the road. It was one solitary note, but it would do. Brilliant. Oh, great. So what memories do you have for that day then, mate?
Oh, look, as you said, it was a fantastic day. Well, it was a fantastic few days, really. We'd probably reached the lowest ever as the club. And I kind of think that winning at Wembley was kind of, and then getting promotion the next year, kind of set us back on the back on track again, a bit of a rebirth, if you like. But the whole build up to it, stopping at Reading University for 5 days before we Lou, it was just, you just couldn't imagine it now, could you? There was stopping in student digs at Reading Uni, driving around looking for places to train. Wait for the game, on pieces of grass and
nothing
and
changes,
all kinds of
does
things. It was funny, sharing. I think some of the press were in the same places as they kept getting hammered every night, getting in late. So we had to put the kibosh on that. But look, ultimately, the sort of game itself was not only was it great that we won, but it was just a terrific game, and it was a proper Blues game. We should have been out of sight at half time. We were hanging on, and then, as you said, then John Gale scored. The goal of his career to win it for us.
Goal of my life, mate. That was honestly.
But also for me, I think I've got as many good memories of the next day when we went to the town hall. It might have been the day after. I can't quite remember. I had loads of my family there, and just a sea of Birmingham fans. And yeah, you can say it was only the Leyland Daft Cup, but it was just a great day. There were thousands of people there who had a terrific day, and at the time, that was the best thing that we probably could have won.
It was just unbelievable, mate, and I just thank you for them. The memories, I can see it right now. I'm still there, you know what I mean? I'm proper still there. Do you want to know something else? There you go.
Come on, then.
There's my 1991 commemorative mug. It is a limited edition, number 265 of a limited edition of 500. That is the prize of my life. That is my FA Cup, mate. That is it.
That is a great prize.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Look at that. You're in there somewhere, mate. You're on there somewhere.
Was that from Influence?
Yeah. Yeah. God blimey.
There was a mix up there, wasn't there, somewhere between Influence and Match Winner for the kit? Is that right? Before the game,
I don't know. Yeah, so someone else has mentioned this to me. To be honest, we don't know. Obviously, the Kumars were in charge, so it was all Influence stuff.
Wouldn't say in charge.
But then, obviously, we have something going to do with Match Winner. The honest answer is, I honestly don't know that one. But we could have worn a vest that day, and it still would have been a great day.
Yeah, oh God, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and it was you.
Sorry, definitely one of the greatest days of my life, Ian, and I thank you for it. Thank everybody for it, because
go on, Mark.
Same.
I still dream about it, mate. I'll be honest with you.
Go on, Mark.
Nick, you seen that picture, Nick, on your cup? I remember they had an open day the week before.
Yeah.
And I went to the open day and I got that poster signed by the whole lot, and I've lost it over the years. Yeah.
Oh, mate. Do you know what? I'd have ripped your legs off for that poster.
Yeah.
I would, honestly. I would. I ain't joking you.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was there as well, Mark.
With your dressing gown, you'd been all right.
It was good times. Now look at it. It was good. It's different times. So we were. Although I say it's different times, it's fairly similar to now in terms of where we're on the league. But it was different times in terms of accessibility and and players' wages, all that kind of thing. So it was just a different era, and it very much felt like we were giving something back to the fans at last who'd stuck with us through some fairly average times, I have to say. Look, it was lots of my pals were Blues fans. I grew up with loads of Blues fans. So for me, that was like I had a magnificent weekend. I don't think I bought a drink for about 2 weeks.
Some comments coming in. Right, I went to Wembley on the West Midlands double-decker bus. Great stuff. Oh, brilliant memories. And Tim Croucher Faraday. I remember Ian Clarkson coming into the side to replace Kevin Ashley, who was arguably our best player, and he took the first team like a duck to water. Good player and underrated, in my opinion. Keep right on.
Thank you, Tim.
One here from Jason Hughes. One of my favourite ever games I've been to. What a day, singing to the whole train back to Weymouth. No one had a clue there was even a final on. That's what we do it. That's what we do. That's what we do. All right, back to football then. So it's now been confirmed that Jude Bellingham is a Dortmund player. What's your thoughts on that one, Paul?
Well, good luck to the lad. I mean, what a move for him. Obviously, you look at Sancho, you look at Haaland recently and what they've done with them and how they've developed them. And as an England fan as well as a Blues fan, it excites me to think that, you know, they could turn him into a world beater also and hopefully become, you know, a great for England as well in the future. Obviously, let's not run before we can walk, but he's certainly got all the ingredients and potential for them to work with over there and develop. And I'm sure he'll come on and be an absolute world star, you know, eventually in time. So, yeah, great move for him, and I wish him all the best.
Obviously, wish him all the best. Everybody does, I'm sure. But, you know, again, we just can't hold on to the talent, can we?
Well, certainly not where we are at the moment. But I don't think any championship club would have been able to hold on to him, to be honest. You know, he's too good for the championship, isn't he, Nick? You know, he's going to be eventually. I think he will eventually be, you know, a Premier League. He'll probably come back there.
If he can stave off injury and keep his head where it is now, he's going to be a world beater.
Yeah.
You know, he's the top of his tree. And thanks, Jude, for all you've done for the football club. And especially from my point of view, thank you for being the last man standing on the field, clapping everybody as you go off, mate. Well done. You've absolutely proved yourself to be, well, I don't know what you call it, an advocate for the game, if you know what I mean. So the words elude me, but hey-ho. Right, Mark.
Yes.
Derby, Wednesday. Derby, Wednesday, Mark. Now, I live near Derby, right?
Yeah.
So do I.
And the pub that I work in is full of Derby fans.
No.
Yeah, right, okay. Here we go again, this deja vu. What is it with Birmingham City on the last day of the season?
I'm getting a bit sick of this now, to be honest.
Yeah, me too, Mark.
I mean, hand on heart, I do think we'll stay up. I just got this feeling we will stay up.
I've seen people, Mark, this week writing about, you know, oh, look, lads, we're going to be safe because we're going to be deducted 12 points. I don't want Wigan to be deducted 12 points. I didn't want to be deducted 9 points. Blackpool seems to have now got away with it.
Well,
it shouldn't be down to us waiting for Wigan Athletic to be deducted 9 points for going into administration.
Yeah, it's not good.
We're Birmingham City, man. We're bigger than this.
Yeah,
just shows you how bad it is, doesn't it, Nick? That just shows you how far we've actually fallen in recent years. That does. It's actually
disgusting, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's shocking.
Well, Bailey Stevens, Derby too, and Dad's a Blue. Keep right on. Thank you ever so much for that, Bailey. And I walked through town last night, and there's one pub here which is allowed to have quite a few seats on the outside. And in amongst there was a very staunch Wolves fan, Stoke fans, even a fan from them up the road that I daren't mention, and they were already ribbing me. You know, I've got a Villa fan ribbing me for crying out loud. Second, look at the state they're in. Huh?
Yeah, you can't. I mean,
Clarky, get your boots on, lad.
It's hard to even laugh at them lot up the road because the minute, as much as we hate them, what have we got to laugh about?
Got nothing to laugh about. Nothing. Not even the pies anymore.
No, there's just nothing. I mean, it's got to change. I know it's easy saying it, but when is it going to change? When, is something going to happen? Because this ain't fun anymore.
Well, there's a big Twitter rumour going about Cranchard tonight, isn't there?
Yes, I wouldn't mind him, to be honest.
Unfortunately, until I see somebody's photograph with a Birmingham City scarf stretched out in the cop facing the Tilton, it ain't happened.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'd even take Paul Cook over, those that have been mentioned. But,
you just have to wonder how long, whoever comes in next, is he going to be given a few transfer windows and a bit of time to... When it even took Klopp and Guardiola, 3 or 4 transfer windows.
I don't think it's much transfer windows, Paul. I think it's been given the reins to do the job properly.
Well, there is that as well, yeah. But that, I mean, that is the biggest problem, Nick, what you say there, absolutely. But, and ultimately that's probably why we've lost recent managers as well. And obviously they've just got fed up of it. But yeah, if you keep carrying on, if it keeps carrying on under the current strategy, then we're just going to finish up. We could put Klopp in charge of the Blues and we wouldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Graham Brown says it just shows the level of the club we are. We're a laughing stock. Kev Kelly, we are relying on a superior team being deducted points to survive. We should hang our heads in shame. Take it off again. We're only a League One team on the pitch.
Yeah.
I mean, no winning 13 games is relegation form, isn't it?
Shocking.
That's the reality. Yeah.
Do you think the Robbie Fowler thing's dead in the water?
No idea. Don't know.
Again, the rumour mill will take its course. Did you have many rumours around, Ian, back in your day?
Yeah, there was plenty. We sacked plenty of managers in the late 80s and early 90s. So, yeah, I think I played with about 5 or 6. Obviously, you said we won the Leyland Daft, and within about 14 days, Lou Macari had gone to Stoke. So none of us saw that one coming.
Yeah, because we all had that big song, didn't we? Lou, skip to me, Lou, skip to me, Lou Macari.
Yeah.
And when it came back with Stoke, we changed the words a little bit.
I could imagine. So look, you couldn't see that one coming in. I mean, when I first was there, obviously Ken Weldon was in charge, wasn't he? And I remember I was as first year YTS. We used to queue up on the stairs for the wages. You used to get paid weekly then, very, very weekly, as Tommy Docherty would have said. We used to get paid weekly, and you used to try and pick your money up, and they wouldn't pay you till after 3 o'clock on a Friday, so you couldn't pay it into the bank till Monday. So you had all like the senior pros going absolutely mental.
Was you paid by check then?
Yeah, you paid by check. You don't have to go and pay. And banks obviously used to shut at 3:30 in those days, or whenever it was on a Friday.
Monday, you wouldn't get your money till the following Thursday, would you? Be a 3-day wait.
Well, I don't know. Yes, yeah, theoretically, yeah. So it used to just. Yeah. So it was an ongoing process, but and that was we sort of arrived at Elmwood in '87, and our first 2 weeks as apprentices, we spent cutting the grass down because it was overgrown. So
17-year-olds as an apprentice, Ian. 17-year-olds as an apprentice at Blues. What was your 16. Wages like at 17?
Well, I made my debut at 17. As a 16, your first side, I left school at 16, and you got £28.50 and a free bus pass.
No, I missed that. Start again.
£28.50 and a free bus pass. She's right, it.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah, and you also, Nick, and obviously.
Oh, crikey, that is brilliant, mate.
And then you also used to get, Nick, you also used to get, you got £4 as a win bonus in the resis and the youth, and £2 for a draw. So if you had like a weekend where you'd play for the resis and the youth team, and you'd win 3 games in a week, you were like a weekend millionaire. Yeah, £40, and I could get the bus, and I could get the bus into Solihull Town Centre on a Saturday night for free. So there you go.
Go out clubbing. You go out clubbing like to the Ritzy or somewhere like that.
Oh, no, actually, to be fair, but when was that, sort of late 80s? Yeah, when you went out, you would probably go into Roses in Solihull, or you go into Birmingham. Would have been like probably the Dome or Rich's or whatever it would have been back in those days, I guess.
Yeah.
Or the Hummingbird. The Hummingbird was quite popular as well for a while. So those sorts of places. Yeah.
That was a good place. I used to like it in there.
Oh, wasn't that Granny Granny?
I went to watch the House Martins there in the 80s. They were quality. Anyway, that's for another show, I think. But
who was Ian? Who was the best player you ever played against?
Ooh, what, at Blues or in my career?
Do both if you want. If the two are different.
I would think, in my career, I would think probably I played against Ginola and Vialli.
Oh wow!
Two top players. Two really, really good players.
Was that when you was at Stoke? Was that when you was at Stoke?
Yeah. They were two really good players. They'd probably be just their movement, everything about them. They were just top class players. You could tell the difference to step up. Blue was cool, blimey. That's interesting. There was lots of decent players, actually. I tell you what, I reckon I'm going to pull one out the bag. I've got one for you. The Swindon game, we were winning 4-1. And then clearly we lost 6. We lost it. Glenn Hoddle moved into midfield, and we didn't get a kick. So I'd have to probably say Glenn Hoddle.
Yeah,
I remember.
And that was when he was about 36, by the way. So
More comments coming in. Alan Longstaff says free bus pass. That's brilliant. Linda says Nick and Chris have already got free bus passes. Thanks, Linda. I think she's older than us, isn't she, Chris?
Oh, she looks a lot older.
Sam Mullet, I'd love to have a character in charge with great sense of humour. Lift the club. Ian Holloway. I would love Ian Holloway. I've loved for years with his background as a person who's been mentioned Blues a lot in the past. We seem settled at Grimsby. Is Birmingham City a bigger opportunity than Grimsby at the moment? That's a serious question, isn't it? Huh?
I would think it probably is, isn't it?
No, it is. I'm kind of being a little bit tongue in cheek there, and I'm saying like, we just cannot keep avoiding relegation on the last day of the season, right? It's going to come and bite you in the backside, and I've got a really horrible feeling it's going to be Wednesday night.
It could well be.
Scary.
You think we're going down?
Me?
This Birmingham City, Mark, nothing would surprise me. Nothing.
Mm.
I mean, ultimately, we've had. I think it's in the last 3 years. This will be the third, or 4 years. This will be the third 19th. If we finish 19th, I mean, we've had like 2 19th place finishes. I think in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, so if you play with,
Scary.
yeah, well, yeah. If you play with fire, you're eventually going to get burnt, ain't you? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but are we banking on? I can't see Charlton beating Leeds. I've got to be honest. Aren't they playing Leeds?
Yeah.
Don't you think Leeds might just take the foot off the gas now?
I wouldn't have thought so. Not.
Was there any of
not
that back in your
in
day? Like, you know, if you'd got promotion and you was on another game after, you're thinking like, okay, I'm going to step up a league here. The last thing I now want is an injury that's going to put me out the first half of the season.
Nah, it doesn't work like that, Nick. I've got to be honest. You know, and I know Charlton got something to play for, but Leeds are a good team, aren't they? So yeah,
Well,
I can't imagine. I think Leeds playing at 70% will probably have enough for Charlton not to beat them. But you never know. You're right. You never know.
They beat Derby yesterday, didn't they?
Leeds, yeah.
Leeds, yeah.
3-1 was it? 3-2, something like 3-1.
Something like that. Yeah.
And plus it's also at Leeds as well, isn't it? So I mean, I know there's no fans there, but I'm pretty sure that they'll want to finish in some style.
I've got a feeling they've got the most.
They've got more cardboard cutout fans than anybody else I've seen. Leeds.
Yeah, they have. I know.
Stephen Gill, Ian, wants to know what's your favourite goal in your career, your favourite personal goal?
Would be my Northampton.
Yep.
Against Bristol Rovers, playoff semi-final. We lost the first leg 3-1, and then we won the second leg 3-0 to get to Wembley, and I got the second one on the night. It was very, very enjoyable. Obviously, I didn't score many, so at senior level. So yes, scoring for Blues, it would have been FA Youth Cup away at Leeds at Ellen Road. I did actually score from about 30 yards, believe it or not, for the Blues youth team.
Right.
Can't be bad, can't we? Okay, go back to Jude for a quick second. A lot of people are saying that it would be nice to make Jude the captain tomorrow as a thank you and a send off. That would be a nice gesture, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to hog the whole conversation. So
it's your conversation, mate. It's your night.
Your show, mate.
Obviously, I teach at a nice school up in Derbyshire, and we often played against Jude Bellingham School Priory, and he was you could tell then he was an absolute class act. He used to play, so I watched him play up to about the age of 13, 14. I went and did a week's teaching at Priory as part of my teacher training, and he was always a good lad and a very, very, very good player.
What part of Derbyshire?
Repton.
Oh, well, no, yeah. Up the A38.
That's the one. So he's an extremely good player, and he'll have had I know his dad. Well, I know his dad very well, but I know of him, and I've seen, and he's got his head screwed on, and clearly he's a lad. He's a lad's head screwed on as well. Yeah. Daniel
Jordan says Leeds will be hungover. Anyone in that ground will be hungover from the promotion party. Hopefully Charlton don't turn up. That's mad, isn't it? Relying on another team not to turn up, or relying on another team to get deducted points. That's what's making me so mad. Right, there is something wrong at our football club from top to bottom. Right, and I ain't beating about the bush. If it's Mr. Dong, sort him out. Right? He is the last person I want to see in a tracksuit. The last person. You should have a suit on, you should have your tie on, and you should be up in your director's chairs or in your box doing whatever you do. You, Mr. Dong, should be nowhere near a football field. Ever. Did you have that back in your day or not?
So I'm talking about my area. I mean, Samesh quite fancied himself as a player, didn't he, if you remember? Yeah. He often did the keep-you-up. So he came into the chat. I mean, I can remember a good one with Samesh where there was an argument about money, unsurprisingly. It was about the Leyland Daft bonuses. And he sort of came into the changing rooms. And cut a long story short, we'd been getting paid peanuts all the way because the crowds weren't very big. And then in the semi-final, it was something like, I think it was £1,000 a man, which was massive money back then. And so we obviously beat Brentford. We were thinking, we're going to get low. Yeah, we picked up our pay packets. We had about 90 quid each. So what's this? He goes, it's £1,000 between you. So there was a big sort of crisis meeting about the wording in the contract. And he had to pay us in the end. But remember, after he paid us, he kicked off massively about half an hour going through our deficiencies as a squad, which was quite interesting. And I think he sort of turned to Lou then and said, have I got your backing on this, Lou? And Lou was like, no, not really. So you could kind of see the cracks developing then a little bit.
Match has just ended. Sheffield, Everton 1-0.
Who to? Sheffield.
Hang on, I've lost it. Sheffield United 0. Hang on, no, stupid thing. Match ended. Sheffield 0, Everton 1. My apologies. My apologies. It's currently still 0-0 in the Brighton Newcastle game.
Okay.
There we go.
So we've got the fans' questions from in the week. Is that okay now?
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, cracking. Crack on.
Yeah, so what we do, Ian, we just put out on our page just to ask our viewers to ask any questions, and I'll just ask you a few that we've been put on there, if that's okay. So Bruce Merrison is asking, did you like being called Captain Chaos?
I didn't mind either way. I didn't mind, to be fair. You know, I mean, ultimately, I didn't mind either way. I mean, it didn't particularly have a chance, so so yeah, it was fine. You know,
I remember singing it on the old cop.
I mean, you could call, you could call me. I mean, I've been called lots of things, to be fair. So you kind of become immune to any kind of nicknames in a nice way. So yeah, I didn't mind either way. Yeah, I was perfectly happy.
Yeah, and this kind of touches on what we talked about earlier, but it's kind of different. So Eric Bullock's asking, who was the best striker and winger you ever faced? Now I know you said Ginola in your career, but you can say for Blues, I suppose, because you said obviously Glenn Hoddle.
I tell you what, I think as a winger.
Yeah,
I tell you, who always gave you a tough afternoon would have been Robbie Dennison at Wolves. Good battles with him over the years at Blues and at Stoke, but he was one of those players. He wasn't particularly quick, Robbie, but you know he could go either way. He had a good shot on him, and he had good delivery. He was a tricky player. So I would think consistently, having played against somebody 6 or 7 times, I'd say he was probably somebody I thought always gave me a good battle. Yeah.
Okay. And Steve Jobs asking, can Ian describe how he found out his feelings, his feelings when he found out he was going to be given his first professional contract with what was a dream come true, playing for his beloved Blues?
I don't know. It was, as you said, it was a fantastic. I mean, getting signed as an apprentice was brilliant. And then I actually made my debut before I was a professional. So I made my debut as a 17-year-old, and I was still on 28.50. And then so I can't. And then on my 18th birthday, Dave Mackay, was it Dave Mackay? No, it was Gary. Sorry, Gary Pendry. Offered me a contract, and I was over the moon. I was signed for the rest of that season and the next season. I was made up, as they would say, or any cliche you could think of. But it was brilliant. It is the proverbial dream come true, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and most of the apprentices back then, were Blues fans. They signed 9 of us in our year, and most of us were. Well, we were all from Birmingham, and most of us would have been Blues fans as well. So,
yeah, good stuff. And Stephen Gill's asking, what was it like to play at the old Wembley, and what was it like before kick-off? So, in the dressing room, you could talk us through in the dressing room, maybe before the game, half-time, and after.
I tell you what, I mean, you're testing my memory out here. Yeah. I mean, well, before the game, I just remember thinking we were quite relaxed, really. We'd sort of gone around before, and I had a walk around the stadium. Plenty of Blues fans in early. And I just remember feeling quite relaxed. You know, I think Lou played it well. He said, go and enjoy yourself, go and wave at people, that's fine, go and say hello. And then from about 2:30 onwards, just get yourself focused on the game. And he always kept it quite light-hearted, Lou, anyway. So there was the usual stuff going around. And then, obviously, queuing up beforehand, I just felt good. And when you walk out and you see all the Blues fans there, it's a massive lift. I don't care what anyone says. That if there's that many people there supporting you, it's a massive bonus.
Yeah.
That noise was just, that was just off the scale, that noise, wasn't it?
And then, obviously, half-time, it was going well, but clearly, whatever we said at half-time didn't work because it went to 2-2 in about 20 minutes. But then at the end, it was just great. It was, there was a massive relief. There was press there. It just felt like nice chaos at the end. It was just like a blur. We went on to the Wembley Hilton afterwards, and there was the reception the next day at the town hall. It was just a terrific couple of days, really.
And of course, we did the ultimate Birmingham City thing as well, didn't we? John Gale was interviewed live on TV straight after the game, and he'd still got his.
We got the 3 points.
Yeah. And he picked up the 3 points. Oh, mate, I tell you what, that is just the best thing ever. Right, here's my story, Ian. Here's my story. For the semi-final, I went to the Birmingham-Brentford semi-final.
Yeah.
And then I got a ticket for the Brentford-Birmingham semi-final, the second leg. Back in that day, that cost me 92 quid.
Blimey, that's a lot.
£92. And I was in with the Brentford fans, right? And on that final whistle, I was going damn delirious, right? And there was a little old gentleman in front of me. He must have been in his 80s. He turned around with tears running down his face. And he put his hand on my arm and he said, "Enjoy your day, son, won't you?" And I just went, "Oh, my God, what have I just done?" I'm just like, whoa, whoa. So I gave him an hug. I told him I was sorry. And then I drove out of Brentford's football club. And that was the very first time that I'd ever seen Wembley Stadium driving home from Brentford, right?
Yeah.
Then for the final, I slept outside St Andrews all night, right?
Okay, yeah.
And in the morning, Mr. Kumar came up with a certain young lady on his arm, no names mentioned. And being a season ticket holder, I hadn't got a ticket, and I think we'd only been allocated something like 3,000 for the first allocation, and we ended up taking 45 down there.
Yeah.
What a day! What an absolute
Great day. Yeah.
absolutely brilliant.
Good times.
Mate, I tell you what, I'm so filled up tonight, Paul. I'll tell you what, I was in such a bad mood for this tonight. I was ready to rip somebody a new one, right? And I can't because Ian's in, and that was one of the best days of my life. That day.
Oh, it was great. It was, I think, the build-up going to Reading uni the week before, because we had probably 5 or 6, Birmingham fans and young kids in the squad, it just took us away from everything. It was looking back, it was a genius, really. It was a masterstroke, really, doing that from Lou. Taking us away from everything. No one had a mobile phone in those days, so you weren't ringing people up. You were just totally away from it all. And everyone was just focused on football and having a laugh and those kinds of things. So it was good.
Okay, people, come on, give us your stories, because Richard Whitehouse said 15, 16 lads staying in a transit van all weekend for the Leyland Duff final. Happy days.
Brilliant.
Well, that must have been one hell of a journey.
I feel sorry for the driver.
If anybody else has got some more good stories, please give them us on your Leyland Daft Cup final. You know what? We should have really made this into a Leyland Daft Cup final show, shouldn't we? Really?
Yeah. Well, my daughter was 7 weeks old.
Your daughter was 7 weeks old.
Yeah, I wasn't going.
And you still went to the game.
I wasn't going to miss it. So
too bloody right, mate.
they came down with me and dropped me off at Wembley, and then they went on to her friends just round the corner, and they stayed there while I was at the match.
That's all right.
Come on, I want some more Leyland Daft Cup final stories. Funny, not so funny, anything you've got. Obviously, don't swear. We want to keep it clean. And Craig Courtney, my first ever game at Wembley. What a match to start off with. Brilliant.
Yeah, same as me. Same as me. Yeah, that's my first one.
Yeah.
Owen Doyle, what a player. My favourite as a kid. I'm thinking he's referring to you. And
I did.
It was my third time at the old Wembley. I'd been with the school for a couple of England games with my school before that. I watched us play Cameroon and Poland just after the 90 World Cup. Yeah,
I've never been to Paul, right? But then after that day, it wasn't just a day; it was an occasion, right? Yeah. Some people will say that it was only the Leyland Daft Cup. No, not to us. It wasn't, right? It was our first Wembley appearance. And I'm 58, 59 years old on Christmas Day. I've never ever told anybody that before.
It looks a lot older,
right? It's getting close, Chris. I've got to start getting the mentions in. And you know what? After that, I was hooked on the old Wembley, and that stadium became a part of me. And I went to every England game possible that was going there, everyone, time after time after time. And then I lost my love for the international game once all the prima donnas started coming in, and there was no fight, no passion, no nothing.
I still think though that night. I think the '91 game. I mean, don't get me wrong. I went to '91. I went in '95. Went to the Carling. I did all the playoffs. That first one. In '91.
How old would you have been, Mark?
What, in '91?
Yeah.
I was 15.
Oh, right. Okay. Because you're quite old then.
I went with my dad. That is so special, that first time.
It was, yeah.
It really was.
It was a special day, and I was 12, and I remember it. Obviously, I remember it well. My uncle drove us there, and we got there. And there was I remember seeing a sign saying that the market's not on today, and I remember a couple of people being disappointed about the market not being on. That's, when you No, not nothing to do with Blues. No, it was people who go there for the market. It must have been people who go there for the market every week, and obviously they didn't realise there was a game on. So
it's a good one from Ian. He says, I remember being at Leyland Daff at 7 years of age and seeing a Mark Hughes play for Tranmere, and my dad said, "Don't worry, he's rubbish."
Siobhan was only 6, so she didn't go. Why not? There's no excuse, is there?
No. 7 weeks, my daughter was.
I know.
She's just trying to make us all feel old, isn't she?
Talk for yourself, Paul. Ian, so go on. Off you go, Paul. Sorry.
I was just going to say there's one last question from our viewers.
Okay,
Also, this one also tests your memory as well, Ian.
Okay.
Simon Price is asking, do you remember presenting trophies at Coronation Star end of season award ceremony at Lighthall School in Solihull at the end of the 1989-90 season? You said he was dressed smart as he collected his most improved player award in his tweed jacket and chinos.
Oh no!
Chinos! I do remember that as it happens because I believe Potsy might have been playing for Coronation Star then, as in Graham Potter. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure he was, and then obviously he came to play for us later, and he was my car school partner for Stoke for quite a few years, Potsy as well. So I'm pretty sure I stand to be corrected that because I remember Potsy said to me, "Yeah, I remember that. It was a really good night." So yeah, I'm sure that was the case. So yes, I remember it well.
And he's got all comments for Graham Potter. He's doing all right.
Yeah, maybe he could be our next manager.
Yeah.
Some more comments coming in.
Can I ask a question?
Linda says she was only 12. What's the sentence for compulsive lying, Chris?
12. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
It was only 12.
It's probably size 12.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably a high heels that she was wearing 12 years old or size 12.
Craig Courtney, I went to the West Midlands bus and I went on the West Midlands bus. Somebody tried to rip my scarf out the window but failed on Wembley Way. That day was immense. Always remember my dad saying the atmosphere will hit you and still get hair standing on end now. I do too, mate. Ray Hobro, I think back in the day we were all just wishing Blues would get to Wembley in our lifetime, and so it happened in 91. Pete Taylor says 94 was my first Wembley trip, 12 years old. And Jerry Smith, fantastic day, an even better weekend. The Fusilier pub, we kidnapped 3 Tranmere fans. This could have legal complications. The Fusilier pub, we kidnapped 3 Tranmere fans and had them singing something on the Villa all night long. Big Steve Cooper scored for the rest of his soul. Great kid. Oh, brilliant, mate. Love it. Oh, great. Ian Clayton's asking, what's it like being in history? The greatest, being in history of the greatest ever goal scored at Wembley. And to me, it is simply the greatest ever goal scored at Wembley. That Beckham one was pretty good when he put us through to the, was it the Euros against...
That was at Old Trafford, Nick.
It was Old Trafford, yeah.
I would say Gascoigne against Scotland has got to be up there, running it very close if it's not better.
Yeah,
I reckon Bobby Charlton's in '66 was decent when we beat Mexico 2-0. That wasn't bad either, to be fair.
I reckon it was even better than Simon Sturridge in the Leyland Duff final.
No, surely not.
Good friend of the show, Steve Portman, has just put a link up on Blake's memory. I can't click it, Steve. That's everything I've got on my laptop will go off at the moment, but I will do it afterwards. It's on the birminghammail.co.uk. Please click on it and do what you need to do. We're Birmingham City fans. That's what we do. All right. Okay. So you didn't really, Ian, have all the glitz and the glamour, the suits and everything.
We got the suits. We got the suits.
I remember the suits. They were quite nice, yeah, but there was a little bit of a story behind them as well, wasn't there?
They were very smart, Nick. Very, very smart, mate.
I know they were.
Look, to be fair, the club didn't have a lot of cash then, and to be fair to Sam Esch and the board, they tried the best, and we had a night at the Wembley Hilton afterwards. They looked after us. We got well rewarded as well for winning it. So I've got nothing but good memories about that time.
Good stuff. Steve Belshaw, thanks for your service, Ian Clarkson. Keep right on.
Thank you.
A legend. You're a legend, mate.
I'm not sure about that, mate, but I enjoyed it. It was good fun.
Yeah, can I test your memory again? Can I test your memory again, mate?
Go on, Paul.
What was the best goal that was scored at St Andrews while you were on the pitch for us that you can remember?
Oh, for us? Whoa,
yeah.
Blimey. Now you're talking. God.
Probably seen a few.
God. I'm gonna have to have a think about that one, to be honest.
Yeah.
I can't remember aforementioned Swindon game, Andy Saville is an absolute rocket in that game. I remember.
He was good, wasn't he, Andy Saville? I liked him.
Yeah, he wasn't bad at all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Do you know what? You have tested it there, Paul. I'll have a little think about that one, mate. And see
Okay, all right. We'll come back to it. Ray Hobro says suits, shell suits, weren't they?
Not some great shell suits. Great match winner shell suits.
Shell suits, yeah, wow.
Oh, yeah. It was Tranmere that come from Liverpool, not us.
Were they sponsored by West Midlands Travel?
That's the one, yeah. Look, you know, it was 1991. It was the height, you know, we were just sort of coming out that house rave scene. Everyone had a shell suit and curtains and all that kind of stuff. So we were quite happy in shell suits back in the day.
I must admit, I did have one.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah.
It was white and black and gold.
Oh, God, blimey.
Oh, no, listen, you know, I had to, you know, all about image back then, wasn't it, Chris? You know what I mean?
Oh, God, yeah. And you still haven't got one.
Did you have Bermuda shorts as well?
Oh, dear. Daniel Ricketts wants to know if we think there's any truth in Cranchar as the new manager. And somebody has replied to Daniel, betting has been suspended on Sky Sports and bet Victor just before I joined the chat.
Yeah, I'm hearing there's quite strong connections now, so it's looking hopefully going to be likely. I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously he didn't do that well at Forest, but he did a good job at Middlesbrough, didn't he?
Mm.
So I don't know. He's certainly somebody who's got a promotion on his CV, which is good.
He's not the most exciting, is he? But having said that, I wouldn't be averse to him coming, to be honest.
I would prefer Ian Holloway personally. I'd love him to. He's a 2020 version of Barry Fry, Ian Holloway, to me.
I don't know what the fascination is with Holloway.
He's got. I just like his comedy. I like his aura. He's got an aura. He's got persona.
Yeah, he's the kind of bloke you'd want to play for, isn't he? You know, he's very likable.
Oh God, yeah.
I can see what you like about him, Nick. I really can. I always enjoy watching his interviews.
Yeah, he's great when he's on the EFL show as well, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd like to just thank Quest and the EFL show for putting us on last yet again on.
I can't say I blame him at the moment.
No. I didn't want to watch it anymore.
Paul, I almost went to the bookies for the first time in my life and put a bet on that we'd be last.
Yeah.
Okay, so on that subject, every week we ask people to message the show either via video or voice. Or a proper message. And so we've got one here from Paul Ashwood. It's quite a long one, so bear with me. First time sending a message to you, I just wanted to vent my frustrations out with regards the players and the board. I've supported Blues all my life and I've never known the players lack so much desire. Guts. It feels, especially since the restart, that none of the players could care less, with the exception of Camp Bellingham and Djukovic. I've always associated Blues with the last-ditch tackles, aka Granger, etc. We had such a great team ethic through the late 90s. I'll just turn myself up a bit there. It just feels since the Carling Cup win that it's gone downhill. I really hope we stay up, but Phil, we're relying on Leeds to win or draw against Charlton. Great show, and I look forward to listening and watching every Monday. Keep right on. It's a shame that we are relying on other teams. Paul?
Yeah, sorry about that. A bit of a coughing fit going on. Yeah, good words there.
What do you think?
I think ultimately, Chris, if we win on Wednesday, and I know it sounds unrealistic at the moment, but, you know, bad runs have to end the same as good runs do. So, you know, if they all roll their sleeves up and actually sort themselves out, because a lot of these players that aren't doing it at the moment, we have seen them do good things previously under leadership, and that's the problem. There's no leadership at the moment. Yeah.
Great comment there, right? And I appreciate what you're saying. Bad runs do have to come to an end. It's gone on for 10 years.
On the whole,
well,
yeah.
Come on. In reality, 10 long years ours have gone on for.
Mm.
But Nick, what you need to do, Nick, is take the long-term view. So I think we've got a 200-year master plan to conquer Europe. It started in 1875. So I'll look back in 2075 when we're sort of, you know, Champions League winners, and I'll say, I remember that period, the fallow years.
Ian, I'll tell you a true story, right? It must have been 6 years ago. Chris Brown will back me up on this, right?
Okay.
And I said, it was 6 years ago, because I remember it. I said, in 6 years' time, Birmingham City, and this was 2014, in 6 years' time, Birmingham City will win the Premier League. I've got 2020 vision.
Very good.
Oh
Do
dear.
you remember that one, Chris?
Hang on. No, it's not that one.
Only got one job.
That's my new gizmo.
Okay, let's be serious now, ladies and gents, girls and boys. It's 8:15 in the evening. The sun's shining in the sky. It's nice and blue. There isn't a cloud in sight, one thing and another. Let's have your predictions for Wednesday night. Chris, starting with you.
Oh, crikey. I'm sorry. I think we're going to lose 1-0.
How many?
1-0.
1-0.
This is going to be the most depressing bit.
I think we'll draw 1-1, one each. Yeah.
Paul?
I was going to say the same as Mark, 1 each, yeah.
1-1.
Yeah.
Ian?
0-0.
I think we're going to lose 2-0.
I'd take 0-0.
I don't think we're going down. My gut feeling is we're not going down, though.
I'm with Paul. Yeah, I don't think we're going down.
Yeah, Craig's gone
Craig
1-0.
1-0. Jude to score. That's a goodbye present. Ian Holloway, one of the managers. Oh, golly, these are coming quickly.
Yeah.
Ian Holloway is one of the best. Holloway is one of the best managers who get blues. He knows what we're all about, the type. And I've nothing. Sorry, I'm sorry. It's just I scroll up and then 40 comments come in.
Yeah. What he's saying, he would galvanise the club.
I know. Yeah, he would galvanise the club. Okay, let's have a look at some of these scores then. Craig Courtney's going 1-0. Jude. Daniel Ricketts is going 1-1. Siobhan 2-0. Graham Brown lose 2-0. Blues 2-1. Bellingham on the score sheet from Linda.
She didn't put 6-0.
What, sorry?
She didn't put 6-0.
Yeah, Linda, what's up with your 6-0? Has she lost faith?
She must have. Well, she's lost her memory, as you get older.
Ian Clayton says we're going to lose 3-0. Crikey. Richard Whitehouse 2-1 to Blues. Stephen Rice 0-0. Sam Mullet 2-2. And Ray 3-3. Oh, that would be a thriller from Manila, wouldn't it? Jason 0-0. Preston 3-0. I don't want to get that one, Jerry, to be honest with you. But there you go. Jason Drennan has gone 2-1. Lots and lots and lots of coming in. Daniel Jordan 0. Jude Bellingham. That would be an absolute great goodbye present.
Imagine
the rest
that.
is over, how the hell do you think we can contain Rooney? He will murder us on his own. From John.
I don't know. It's not the same Rooney, is it?
Yeah.
Dave twice says it's 6-0. We would have seen everything this year.
Wouldn't that be funny?
Wouldn't be doing his show in the buff.
Last game of the season, win 6-0, and I have to do it nude.
Mrs. Brown, can you confirm how long we're now going to go on for after the season's finished?
Sorry? I can't, no. No, when the season finishes, we'll stop for a bit, I think, because it's been a long. We've done F show all the way through, through lockdown. Yeah. We haven't had a week off, have we? A show off? No,
It's been a blessing, not only for the people out there as well, but for the likes of us as well. To meet up together on Monday night to have a chat and get absolute stars in from the past. It's been an absolute blast this summer, as I'll be honest with you, as far as the show's concerned. And the important news tonight, ladies and gents, is that Boyle Sports are continuing to sponsor us again next year. Thank you very much indeed. Isn't that wonderful?
Great stuff.
Good news.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Birmingham City's principal sponsor sponsors a Tilton Talk Show. Take that in. Take it in.
So can we come on?
Come on.
Sorry, Nick. Can we come on to Ian's 1 to 11?
Yes, go for it.
Yeah, please.
Looking forward to this. Come on, Ian.
Oh, okay. Right, yeah. I mean, I was asked about this. So you've got to bear in mind, it wasn't the glory years, so you're not going to have Francis Hatton Burns in there and people like that. But it was people that sort of played with it. My goalkeeper is going to be, I think, it's a toss-up between Martin Thomas and Alan Miller. In terms of, I mean, Alan was only there for 3 months, but he was clearly a very good goalie. But I played with Tomo probably more, ex-Welsh international as well. I'm probably just going to lean towards Tomo just because I played with him a lot longer. But, Alan Miller would have run him very close, really.
Did we get him on loan off Arsenal, was he? Is that right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we had him for sort of 3 months. Tomo got injured, didn't he, at the start of that promotion season. And then we had him, we had Alan Miller, we had Kevin Dearden at the end, who also did very well. and we had another who escapes me.
Was it Cheesewright? John Cheesewright?
Yes, John Cheesewright. Good shout, Mark. Yeah, it was. Yeah. So
Les Seeley as well. Was Les Seeley there as well?
He came the year after.
I think that's
2 years after Les Seeley was there. I think it was. He was there the year after, definitely.
Okay. Yeah.
Came the same time as Speedy, I think, Dave Speedy. So, so right back, I'm going to pick Ray Ransom. Good player, Ray. Played with him a few times in the first team, and I saw around the building with him a lot. But I think in terms of quality as a fullback, I'm going to put Ray Ransom in there. Centre half, Big Vince Overson. Certainly for me, a good leader. Knew what his limits were, but was terrific. A great competitor. Would win lots of things aerially, but and a real sort of a real leader of men. I had lots of time for Vince. He really helped me when I was a young lad as well. So, and a very good player. Now, my other centre half. This is the tricky one. I wasn't really sure on this one. I got a few options really, and sort of narrowed it down here to sort of between sort of Mathewson and Marden really. And for me, I'm probably going to give it Trev, just on the basis of the year we went up. He came in right at the death and played 6 games on the spin, and we won all of them. And he won't go down in the annals as one of Birmingham's best ever centre halves. But the time I was there, I think he scored quite a few goals for us, important goals, and he never gave anything less than 100%. So, if I was picking an all-time 11 of all my clubs, he wouldn't have got in it. But as I'm doing Birmingham, probably in it. But I stand to be corrected by anybody else on that one if they want to stick in Marden or, clearly Ian Atkins was coming towards the end of his career at Blues, but he was also a good player in the past. Left back for me has got to be John Frame. 300 games for the club. You don't play 300 games plus for a club if you're not a good player. He's, I knew him when he was playing for Hall Green St Michael's in the Central Warwickshire League. He's a good, solid lad. Played with him at Northampton as well, and his quality on the ball was underrated. Great taker of penalties, and just an all-round good, solid citizen who you knew would be, as I said, a sort of a modern-day Malcolm Page, if you like.
Yeah. As much recognition as you should, really, doesn't he, Friday?
I don't think so. He
300 appearances,
he played in the top flight as well, didn't he? And when John Bond was there, so he played in 3 divisions for the Blues, and he was for me, I think he had really good quality. He could play midfield as well as left back. He'd be in my back 4. Midfield, I'm going to put Rogerson on the right hand side.
Good player.
Good quality player. Really, got to move to Sunderland. Really enjoyed playing with him personally. We sort of dovetailed nicely, but his quality on the ball was terrific. That year we got up, he scored a stack of goals for us from wide right. And he, I used to do all his dirty work for him, and he used to have all the quality. Just a good player, and a really good lad. And I think he was again somebody, when he stopped playing for us, we missed him.
I was gutted when he missed out on Wembley.
Yeah, me too. It was a shame for him because he did ever so well. Conversely, I was pleased for Yates. He was a great kid as well. But I was sorry for Dodge because he had and he was sick that he missed out on that. And he'd had a really good season, and he was a good player. Particularly in that semi-final against Brentford, he had an absolute stormer at home.
Scored, didn't he?
He scored. I think it was him and Gailey. I think I can't quite remember. It was certainly him. He was a good player, Dodge. Central midfield for me is going to be Glegor. I'm not going to play him wide left. I'm going to play him in the middle because when he went to Stoke, he was even better in the middle. For me, I think in my 7 years at Blues, he was probably consistently the best player I played with, Nigel. Good quality.
Excellent player. Yeah.
Scored lots of goals. Never panicked. Very much his own man as well. Wouldn't always follow the crowd, but he always made really good decisions, Nigel. When you're playing as a fullback, crossing into the box for him, you just couldn't miss that head. He was brilliant. He was just going to
always at the far post.
Never at the far post. But in terms of his quality on the ball, he was very much because he was never as well. Wouldn't always follow the crowd, but he made that ball move quickly. And so for me, really good quality. Now, the other central midfield is a tough one, really, because I was leaning towards sticking Tate in as well. So because I know Paul's the same age as me. We've grown up together. We were then sort of 2 who kind of made it through. And he's got really good quality, Tatey. And also, and it's going to sound bizarre, but for about half a season, David Rennie had as bigger impact as anybody I've seen at the club when he came and we got promotion. I think he'd come from Leeds, and he had an absolute, I can't describe how good his influence was in terms of off the pitch, on the pitch, but he probably didn't do it for long enough. So I'm going to probably stick Tatey in alongside Nigel. Again, great quality on the ball, Tatey. I think he was probably better. I think he was probably better up front, in all fairness, but he played most of his games in midfield, but he made some good runs, good quality on the ball, and always worked hard. Which leaves wide left, and it's a toss-up between Louis Donowa or Graham Potter. I'm going to give it to Donowa, who I think on his day. I know he blew hot and cold, Louis, but I remember playing against Crystal Palace when he absolutely murdered them when we were a League One.
His speed was off the scale, wasn't it?
Yeah, he didn't always get it right, Louis, but when he did, he was almost unplayable.
Yeah, he was brilliant.
So for me, on that alone, I wouldn't have wanted to play against him every week. No. So for me, I think Louis' quality, he scored some good goals, and he had some great pace. He could play, down the middle as well. So that's the sort of my midfield for me, back for me. My front two, Simon Sturridge, definitely for me. I think if he hadn't got injured, he'd have gone and played in the Premier League. I think he's got great quality, Simon. As a fullback, he was a dream to play with him. He made so many angles for you. Great touch, good finisher, great feet, everything that you want in a striker. Worked his socks off. Good local kid. So, and I'm going to put Steve Whitton alongside him.
Right.
Okay.
Played with him. I think Whit was a class player. He touched, and some of the goals I saw him score when I was a 16-year-old kid at the club, and beyond that, some of the things he could do, I've not seen players been able to do. He really was that good. He's a great lad. You speak to him, and he'll probably say, I enjoyed my life a lot as well. But he's a great player, and some of the skills and the goals he scored, again, you could hit him with any ball, he'd kill it stone dead. And he had a great first touch. He could score some unbelievable goals. So for me, I'm going to stick Whit in there as well.
Shame about his surname.
Yeah.
And who's the captain?
In that lot, that's a good question. You'd probably give it to Vince, I think.
Johnson, yeah, definitely.
A little bit of reaction coming up that, Paul. Carl BZ said Alan Miller, best goalie I've ever seen at Blues. And Penny Wood, I don't know where the associations come from. Alan Miller used to call me Jubblies.
You scored him what?
Penny Wood says Alan Miller used to call her Jubblies.
I wonder why.
Steve Jobs just posted a link where Sheffield Wednesday and Wigan is a story written by the Daily Mail, so we know that it's going to be true. Whereas Wigan and Sheffield Wednesday will avoid any points deduction this season. Interesting.
Okay. Siobhan says, Ian, did you have any run-ins with any other players, managers, and whether it was at Blues or any other team? And if so, do you still dislike them now?
No, not really. No. I would have said probably, during the course of your career, you do fall out with people because it's that kind of industry. It's quite heated. It's quite a passionate sort of job. But generally, I would have said at Stoke, I'm not sure I was Jordan's cup of tea. I'm not sure he was mine particularly. But, if I saw him now, I wouldn't be doing him any ill will. I would hope he wouldn't me either. But, most, you learn things off everybody, really. And I've got to be honest, there's nobody I dislike from time. Clearly, you gravitate towards certain people, but there's nobody I dislike intensely from my time in football.
And who was the funniest? Who was the funniest person in the dressing room at the Blues?
Cool. There was a variety. I think it was just, there was quite a lot of young lads in at the time, so we always had a good giggle. That was sort of Fox, Tate, people like that when I was younger, and then you got people coming in. Rowbottom was always quite funny when he came in and signed. He was Trigger because he obviously wasn't immense, but he was a good lad. He was funny. There was all kinds of. I said he was actually probably one of the funniest people, and this is a lad called Paul Fitzpatrick, who was only there for how long? About half a season?
I don't remember him.
And he was absolutely hilarious. So he was one of the funniest people I met. James Quinn was a funny lad. He obviously went on to play for West Brom, Northern Ireland, that sort of lot. There were lots and lots of funny stories. Sometimes people who weren't necessarily amusing had the funny were the funniest without actually knowing it. If that makes any sense.
Got you.
throughout the course of the time, most days you would go in and you would have a laugh. It's just like going to school and getting paid for something you really like doing.
Yeah.
Ian, am I correct in saying that your first full game for Blues was against them up the road?
Yeah, we lost 2-0. It was 88, wasn't it? Yeah. So, that was...
Well, I researched it earlier, and I weren't going to mention that. But
no, it's fair enough. Look, it was... but yeah, I mean, for me, that was it. I was delighted. Because, I'd been in the squad a couple of times. I played a couple of friendlies pre-season. And then all of a sudden I looked on the team sheet and remember Vince giving me a slap on the back and saying, off we go then, kid. And there we were. And I thought, bloody hell. So I had no ink.
Yeah, the rest is history.
Not until about 6:30. So...
Can't be bad. Okay, I did speak a little bit earlier about this very serious complaint that Tilton Talk Show had in the week.
Yeah.
And I must admit
official
that I've been
complaint,
charged. I was guilty as charged, and I was eating a pizza last week.
Yes.
It was unprofessional of me. I remember that. I know that, right? Paul, but what you don't realise, the circumstances, is that we only had a very limited amount of time to get all the pubs ready for COVID-19 opening and one thing and another. And I had been absolutely pulled out, right? It's not an excuse, and I won't do it again. Bring me that pizza! And I won't do it again.
Yeah, the doorbell's just gone.
Nobody noticed me eating an ice cream earlier, did they?
Domino's have arrived. Listen, I'm sorry for eating pizza on the show. It was wrong of me, but it was going cold, and I can't stand cold pizza.
You're forgiven.
Ian, who was your football idol growing up, mate?
Probably would have been Colin Todd and Frank Worthington, I would think. Obviously watch the Blues all the time, and they for me were the two players who, when I was about 11 and 12, probably caught my eye, and that was good impression of my age. So I always liked defenders. So Colin Todd, because he was top class, and everyone liked watching Frank play. So probably those two, I think, really initially.
Yeah.
So,
Craig just says,
Craig Courtney. Ian, do you still go to St Andrews, and how does it feel sitting watching the boys?
Yes, Graham, I'm lucky enough. Me and Dave still do that ambassador role, so I go to about half the home games. It's great. I'm like everybody else, though. I share all that sort of. I want to see them win every game. And as a Blues fan, it's always nice to watch the Blues play, and when you win, it's a great feeling.
Yeah.
So you're a Birmingham City supporter by birth, then, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I started going 78, 79 as my first season ticket, and then forevermore, really.
You are one lucky individual.
Yeah,
to be an absolute supporter, and I know what it's like to be a supporter, and so does Mark, and so does Paul, and so does Chris, and so does everybody else out there. Yeah. But to pull that shirt on and to walk down that tunnel, my God. Huh?
It's lucky. Yeah, you have to make a few sacrifices along the way and have a modicum of talent somewhere in there, and it kind of and it comes to fruition.
Yeah.
So, and it was I was training with the Villa as well till about 14, but I was never going to sign for the Blues.
Yeah. Said the word. He said the word.
Oh well.
I apologise.
10 years, and we've only ever had that word said twice, and you've done it tonight. You're all right.
I was going to say, can I just say, Ian?
Go for it, mate.
Yeah, Ian, who did you room with before the night before Wembley? Who was your roommate?
Oh, that's a great question. I really don't know. No, actually, I'll tell you what. No, I can tell you because we were in student dig, so we had a room on our own, but it wasn't. It was a room with no telly. It was a room with. It was a proper student dig.
It was a room.
A room with a bed with like a common room in the middle. So actually, I roomed on my own, which, in all fairness, it was quite nice because there were some big snorers in that squad.
Have you thought any more about the goal on the pitch when you was on the pitch for the Blues at St Andrews?
Which one?
The question I asked you earlier about your memory. Asking you.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yes, a good question. Right, let me come back to that one. I think. I've got them somewhere. I've got some kind of something in my head about a volley, but I can't. Tell you what, don't talk to me for 2 minutes. I'll have a think and I'll come back to you.
Okay.
Lots of complaints coming in about your bad language, Ian. You mentioned the V word. Not
apologies, Paul. Yeah, suitably reprimanded.
Nick, nobody noticed me earlier eating an ice cream, so I should be clear.
I shall replay the show later, Chris. And if that's the case, you're going to be put in Tilton Talk jail for 4 days.
I had no choice. The wife passed it to me, and it was either eat it or it was going to melt.
I did see her making it outside. And I did see her pass it to you. To be honest with you. And I thought, you know what?
So
He's my mate. I ain't going to say nothing.
While Ian's thinking, right?
Go
Go on.
I've had a thought.
Go on in.
Go on.
Season 92-93, we stopped up by the skin of our teeth again, one of those bits similar to this year. And we
Yeah.
played Luton at home. And John Gale, bizarrely, scored another goal. One of those goals was against Luton, and he bent it in from about 25, 30 yards. I think that might be. I'm just thinking back. That might be it. I can't remember anything better that one.
He wasn't.
Yeah.
So he wasn't long back from injury, was he?
No. Every goal's a good goal.
I remember that.
I think that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was you who put the ball in the box, wasn't it, for his overhead kick at Wembley?
Yeah, no, look, I mean, with Gale, if you get it anywhere in and around the vicinity, you know, he's going to either win it or put somebody off or challenge. So, yeah, he's just a unit, isn't he? He's a really big old lad, John.
I'd give him both my arms and legs, Ian, to be that person who put that ball in the box for Johnny to put that over his head. I would, honestly, I mean that. Wow. What a goal. What a moment.
I am right about that. I know you did dink it into the penalty box, didn't you? And then it was like
Vince headed it. Vince flicked it on.
Yeah.
And then Gailey did the overhead kick. So and as I said, it was a. Look, I mean, you know, we used to work on things like that, and actually, you know, it paid off. Clearly, we didn't work on Gailey doing overhead scissors every day, but we worked on putting balls in certain areas.
I mean, they're just one-offs, aren't they? You know what? If you hit it and it's sweet and it goes in the net, it could have gone absolutely anywhere. It could have, but you know what? Still looking at it now, and I've watched it so many times. Wow, what a goal!
He was having a good day. He was having a great day. Yeah, he terrorised their centre
and he picked
halves.
the 3 points up.
Exactly. It was a double whammy. We got the cup and 3 points.
Yeah.
Donny Blue.
Chris Rutter's asking Ian if you could go into the dressing room before the game on Wednesday and tell the players how much this means to us fans to stay in this league. Keep right on.
They should know.
Oh, look, yeah. I have to say that, you know, I mean, I know it doesn't always look like it, but I can't think of many examples where a player hasn't tried. I've got to be honest. I know it's frustrating, and I know things happen, but I can honestly say I played 16 years or 17, and I can't think of many things on one hand where I thought, you've not really tried today. Players have bad games, they get short of confidence, and when you're short of confidence, you hide a little bit sometimes for that ball. Or if someone runs past you and you're short of confidence, you just, I don't know, I can't quite put my finger on it, but I'm pretty sure that I don't know this because I don't know any of them, but I'm pretty sure that, you know, lads like Gary Gardner's hurting. He'll be hurting. He's a Blues fan.
Oh, definitely.
And I'm pretty sure that lots of them, you know, in your professional pride, you won't want to lose every week.
No.
So
I know. I get it. I think it's just frustration from us fans. You know what I mean? Because
I understand.
It's deja vu with here again.
I understand it. Yeah, I know it's the 5th or 6th time in as many years, and it's difficult. But, you know, ultimately, you know, we've still got the same crux of players who keep finishing in and around there, so it's probably going to keep on happening, isn't it? I guess. You know, and that's the thing. That's just the way it goes sometimes. So, you know, I'm really optimistic that, you know, we can better times lie ahead. I always say that. So
we've literally got 2 days to go. Right, Siobhan Kenny says every time the V word is used, we should have a swear box, and all proceeds should go to a good cause. I agree with you. Can we do that next season, Chris Brown, please?
Yes.
Everybody and anybody who uses the V word. How much do you reckon? Come on, let's have a.
It's got to be £50 pound.
It's got to be £1.
Yeah, it can go into the studio.
If you use the V word, you're charged £1.
Yeah.
Can we set up a GoFundMe thing next year? Because if anybody uses the V word on the shout box as well, they're also fined.
I tell you what, it can go towards the studio refurb.
Craig Courtney wants to know, how did it feel watching that goal go in at Wembley?
Which one? All three of them, or?
No, the overhead one. I'm sure.
Look, he was elated because we were, you know, at that time we were sort of hanging on a bit. You know, we got back to 2-2, but they were probably favourites to get to third, so that just gave you a massive lift. It just felt like we were going to win. You know, in that season, Tranmere had finished higher than us, so you know they were probably had a better. So they got promoted the week after,
So they were a decent team.
They're a decent
Yeah, they were. Yeah,
Decent
yeah,
team,
yeah.
And Nick, can I just get this one in quickly, because it's
course
on,
you can, my
it's, on,
friend.
it's on YouTube, and it's from Donny Blue. He says, does Ian think the Blues fans, even back then, made a massive difference to the Blues, past and present?
Yes, I think fans do make a difference. And I'm a Blues fan, so you do. But at other clubs as well, you play who've got passionate fans. It makes a difference, because if you're at home, conversely, you can feel the pressure a bit as well. But actually, it keeps you going, and I do. I think fans make a big difference, and particularly if it's going well, or you're having a good time, and they can really sort of drive you on. So yes, I do think they make a difference, and I'm
One
delighted.
from me then, Ian. How did it feel when you walked out that tunnel at Wembley and you looked left and then you looked right, and you looked right and you saw the Tranmere supporters and half of it was empty, and you looked left and we had filled the rest of that stadium to the max?
Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? It's fun. I mean, it's terrific, and I mean, I know there's still, if our stadium was bigger and we were doing better, then we'd fill it.
We would, yeah.
So there's lots and lots of latent potential out there, and that for me, that was just a great, because as you said, it had been 35 years since we got there. There were loads of lads I knew going, loads of people I knew who were grown up with and knew in the area, and they were all just, it was just a great weekend. And I remember, I was looking at. You look at some of the pictures in the crowd, and some of the people in the crowd, and it's just, people are just delighted, genuinely happy that we finally won something.
Yeah.
What mementos have you got from that day? And you've still got your medal, your shirt, scrapbook?
No, I haven't got a fat lot. So to be honest, I'm not going to show my medal. I had a divorce a few years back, and I haven't got a fat lot left. So I've not got my shirt, I've not got my medal, but what I have got is lots of good memories. I think my dad's still got the VHS video somewhere.
I've got it.
So look, ultimately, I watched it. As I said, during lockdown, it was on YouTube, on Blues TV. Probably the first time I've watched it for quite a few years, and I'd forgotten. What a good. I've seen the goals before. What a good game it was. What an exciting game it was. Yeah. And actually, so for me, I've got those memories in my head, and that is ultimately the most important part of it, really.
Not only you, though, Ian, we've got those memories in our heads too. And do you know something? Yeah. For me, I can remember, just because I was 6, the 1966 World Cup final. And to me, that game at Wembley on that day was a better feeling, a far better feeling. I was 6, I didn't understand, but then when it's in your heart, when it's tattooed on your arm, when you've got the mug and you've got the shirt and you've got what it takes to be a proper, real Blue Nose, you will never, ever, ever forget days like that.
Do you know what? I'm pretty sure. Am I allowed to say Wolves on here? Or is that swearing as well?
Oh,
yeah,
no.
Filthy, horrible club.
Okay, well, that club from over in the Black Country, I'm pretty sure that their '88 Sherpa Band won against Burnley. I know lots of their fans who still talk about that, even though they're doing well now. They're in Europe. That for them, they'd been right down to the bottom. And that for them was a real sort of turning point. So, every time I see Keith Downing, he always talks about it anyway. But I know that their fans still hold that. So for me, it was a great day for us, not for them.
Yeah. Do you keep in touch with any of them, Ian? Do you keep in touch with any of them from that era?
Yeah, I mean, I still speak to John Frayne, Dean Peary, and Rogerson a fair bit. I still speak to Paul Tate. I speak to him. You'll have your sort of Zoom calls occasionally, or a text, or a Facebook, or whatever you're on social media. So, predominantly them, and you still see people round about. But like anything, life moves on. It's great to see them when you do, but everyone's got busy lives, so we don't meet up as much as we probably should do.
And who was the best manager you ever played for, Ian, in your career?
Oh, that's a good one. I mean, they all had something to offer, to be honest, Paul. That's not me copping out.
No.
Gary Pemsley gave me my debut. He was great. Dave Mackay had some really good ideas. Lou Macari was fantastic for me. I really enjoyed with him and at Stoke. Joe Jordan, again, didn't really hit it off with Joe, but actually, he had some ideas that were probably ahead of his time. Ackers at Northampton. I miss Terry. I know Terry Cooper. I could miss Terry. Terry was great. As a fullback, he was superb. Terry, he taught me a lot about the role of a fullback. I need to mention my youth team coach as well, Fred Davies because he was top class. You know, I had 2 years in the Blues, and that taught me a hell of a lot. And he had an important part in my development, really. So even big Yannick Kidderminster when I was just finishing off, it was just some really good characters. Ian Atkins was great. Him and Terry Cooper as a partnership were probably the best partnership that worked well together.
Yeah.
I think so. I don't think they're particularly great mates, but I don't think you have to be a good partnership. Terry was very attack-minded. Ian was very defensive-minded, and they sort of worked together really nicely, I have to say.
I bet were you all stunned when Lou actually went? What was the feeling at the time? Did you and the other lads talk about it? Was it like a bombshell?
Well, we were surprised. But, I mean, I think we kind of all signed contracts not long before, so we were surprised. But you know what, and as I say, in football, the only thing that's constant are the fans. Everything changes quite regularly. I mean, I sort of worked that out quite quickly. I was a Blues fan, and when I started training with the first team, I was like, oh wow, I'm training with Andy Kennedy, Julian Dix, and then all of a sudden, then we within a couple of years, you work out quite quickly. People get moved on, managers get moved on, coaches get moved on, and actually, the one constant is the fans. So nothing ever surprises you in football, I have to say.
No. And did you go to Wembley for the Carling Cup? Do
you know, I didn't actually. No, I did have a ticket, but I gave it to somebody I had work commitments, which meant it was going to be tight to get there. So I watched it on the telly, but good grief, what a fantastic game. How good was that? So, it would have been better if I was there. But, I remember watching that, and what a magnificent memory that was.
Yeah.
Great. Peter Hannon's asking, what were the circumstances of you leaving Blues to go to Stoke? Was Lou McCurry a big part of that?
Quite so. I mean, obviously Terry at the time wasn't playing me particularly. I'd spoke to him and said, I want to be playing. He tried to farm me off somewhere earlier in the season. I can't remember where it was, but it was somewhere I didn't really want to go. And then we played Stoke in an Anglo-Italian Cup game.
We certainly did,
and I played, and I spoke to Lou, and he said, what's happening? I said, well, I'm not playing. This is obviously the days before agents. Next thing I know, he rang up Terry and said, can you come in for a chat? And I went for a chat, and that was it, really. So, he was fairly instrumental in it. First 3 games at Stoke, we beat Middlesbrough, Forest and Man United. So it was an interesting first week at Stoke. But it was,
we kind of had quite an affinity to Kari when he was the manager. And then I don't know what the circumstance, I can't remember the circumstances why he left, but it was when he came back, it was like, well, it was an Alex McLeish moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of those, wasn't he?
He was, as I said, for Lou, he did, he was good for me at Blues and he was good for me at Stoke. You speak to other players and he might not have been everyone's cup of tea, but the one thing he did do is he got his money's worth out of you and he worked hard. And he was very much a realist. So he wouldn't ask you to do things he didn't think you couldn't do. So,
right.
And I think as a player, that gave you confidence. And actually at that time, and you know what it's like, back in that day, you generally got paid more if you didn't play for your hometown club.
Really?
Yeah, generally, yeah. So you'd come through and you keep getting, look, it's fine. You're not playing for cash, but if someone's going to give you a first team place and offer you more money, then you're probably going to go, aren't you?
Of course you are. Yeah. We had the same conversation with, who was it, Paul, last week? Not a week before, 3 weeks ago. Sorry, Robbie Savage.
Yeah.
Robbie Savage.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. I mean, I've played against Robbie a few times. I'm guessing the figures he's talking are slightly different to mine. But the concept is the same.
10 grand a week extra.
And a free book.
Ian, we had Darren Carter on the other week, and he said you was his favourite player when he was a kid.
Yeah, I remember. Do you know what? It was funny. I played for the Blues Old Boys with Darren about probably 5 or 6 years ago. He came and had a game for us, and he was just like, he was talking to me. He went, "I've got to tell you this. First game I went to watch was when we beat Crewe 3-0 on the opening game. It was just like he was talking to us. Do you know what? It was really nice. It was like he'd been waiting to tell me that all night. It was fantastic. He's a fantastic lad, Darren. Got loads of time for him. Local lad who's played for the team he supported. So I can relate to that. And he's a.
Was you at that one? Was you at that one in Cardiff when he scored the penalty against Norwich?
Yeah, I was. Yeah. I mean, that was a great day. So.
This is a great question, Ian. Going back to your era, did the owners of the club Weldon, Kumars, etc., have any effect on the players? He's just thinking in relation to current owners and performances. I mean, what he said, he did have any influence.
Well, you know, I mean, obviously I spoke around when sort of Ken Weldon was here. They didn't used to pay us till late on a Friday. So we were always queuing up on a Friday. So, you know, I mean, ultimately, when you go and play, it probably doesn't have any effect. But I don't think things like that necessarily help the sort of conviviality. Although what can sometimes happen is the manager can distance himself from a chairman and he can get a bit of a sort of a them and us kind of spirit going.
Yeah, but what he's trying to say is, was there any, did they influence any of the playing decisions and things like that?
No. I mean, certainly not with Ken Weldon. I think I actually really like Samesh. I think Samesh in his own head would have liked to have influenced the decisions.
Yeah.
But to be fair to who did he have? He had Terry Cooper, Dave Mackay, Lou Mackay. They'd have given him short shrift, to be honest. So, you know, sometimes they'd come in the changing room at the end of the game. But, you know, I took it as, you know, I like Samesh, he's the chairman, but I'm not going to listen to him if he tells me anything about football because ultimately, you know, he's not the manager. So, you know, I'd be respectful and nod, but I'd be thinking, actually, okay, whatever. And then you just sort of move on, really. So, no, you know, and certainly I didn't see any of that in the other clubs at Stoke, Northampton or Kidderminster. There was no interference from chairman. But again, I stopped playing 18 years ago. Things have changed. You know,
very much so. Ray's corrected me actually. When I was on about the Rugby Savage wage rise, it was 10 grand a week. He said, "Yep, 10 grand a week extra, but no bus pass."
No bus pass.
I'll tell you what, that was the clincher. I think. I reckon if I would have offered him a bus pass, he might have stopped.
I bet you went on the number 11 all the way around.
There was one thing that I wasn't expecting out of tonight. It was a chuffing bus pass. It was not a bus pass, I believe. Oh,
God. That was a perk. That was a great perk.
That's brilliant. Gregory Beasley says, good evening from Porthcawl. Good evening to you, Gregory. And Neil Monaghan wants to know who the next manager is. So do we.
Oh, I'd love to know, yeah.
We don't know.
I'll tell you what has just been filtered through to me.
I've make that announcement. It's up in the air, isn't it?
I've just had a message saying that Wigan's points will be deducted at the end of Wednesday night. Yeah, have you seen that?
Yeah. You know what? Look, I went to Wigan last season. Oh, mate, what an away day that was. That was just off the scale. It was brilliant. A fantastic club with great facilities and one thing and another. What are the EFL doing on this fit and proper person?
Nick, I've not forgiven Wigan.
Just destroying the game.
Mm-hmm.
I've not forgiven Wigan for 91-92. That poxy Springfield Park when they beat us 3.
I was there sliding down that mud. Right, I got home. I got back. I had a white Montego at the time. Right, and it had a white interior. Believe me, it was not white by the time I got home, and we were all doing the conga around the pitch.
That's right. It wasn't a great. I also went there a couple of years earlier, and it was just fog. We lost on a Friday night 1-0. I think Dave Mackay was, and you couldn't see from one end to the other, so I've got no idea why it was on. But horrible
ground. I can remember when you could walk all the way around the ground, and there was like a little tiny hut at the back.
That's right.
Yeah, horrible place. Horrible place.
I've got no great memories of that place, I can tell you. So.
No, Wigan Casino afterwards, that was a better place.
Yeah, a bit of northern soul.
That's it. You got it.
Right, serious question for you here, Ian. Serious question. Right, Jason Hughes wants to know: does Ian think Dong has done us wrong, or did Dong do right?
That sounds like a song, doesn't it?
If he thinks Dong wrong. Or if he thinks Dong do right, what did Dong do right or wrong?
He's just a start of
Jason, he must have been 3 days trying to type that, mate.
He's done that on purpose, hasn't he?
Does Ian think Don has done us wrong, or did Dong do right? If he thinks Dong done right, what did Dong do right or wrong? There you go.
Go on, man. You can say that tongue twister again, then, Nick. Go on.
Ian, I can tell you now, right? There is nothing better than a Birmingham City supporter's humour.
Yes.
The humour on the terraces is just off the scale. There's not another club that can match us. Like, something will happen on the pitch, and we'll just come out with something so comical, and it's just incredible whether somebody shouts it or whether somebody starts singing it or what have you.
Actually, go on, Nick. I have to say, Nick, having had 3 years at Stoke, they're very similar.
Yeah, they're Stoke.
Yeah, but they all eat chicken for dinner.
They've won the League Cup once. They've won the League Cup once and the Auto Glass once, and you know their sort of expectations are about on a par with ours. So I would say they're similar. Obviously, I'm a Blues fan, but you know I could, there was some relatively decent humour there as well.
Yeah.
So, although they look like they're stopping up definitely, don't they? So they're okay.
Yeah, I think
They're
safe.
definitely safe now. Yeah. Definitely safe.
Yeah.
They're safe.
11-5 to 9 now, is it?
It is.
Yeah.
It is, Nick. I think it's time to
It is.
say
It is.
goodbye.
Look,
No.
can I just apologise for eating pizza last week? I'm really sorry. I don't want to offend anybody, but I was hungry, and you've got needs. Everybody's got needs, haven't they? If you need to eat, you've got to eat. No, I won't do it again. Ian, I'm going to tell you now, mate. Right, I've been looking forward to this one since I'm on, right? Because that day back in 1991, bless you. There's my mug, right? There's my mug. That mug is literally one of the best possessions that I have. The memories of that day, the memories of the lead up to it, the memories of going into Brum afterwards, and I lived, like, as I say, near Derby. Driving into Brum the day after, that throng of people in the square, the bus coming around the corner, the tears running down my eyes, right? And I'm only speaking for myself. I know that I'm speaking for everybody else that went to that game. Ian Clarkson, you chucked that ball over for Johnny Gale to do that overhead kick. Oh my God. And you know something? You've just been on the Tilton Talk Shed.
Thank you very much, Nick.
I ain't joking you. I know that 1, 2, 3, 4 of the people in here, 3 other people, including me, 4, and everybody out there has appreciated you coming on tonight. It's been a very, very difficult year, a horrible year. But you know what? It's people like you that are brightening up other people's lives. I genuinely mean that, right? And I do mean it, because it happens week in and week out, and we get so many lovely comments after this. Look, good night, guys. Well done. Great effort. This, that, the other. It's all coming up on the screen now. And if it wasn't for people like you, right, who agreed to give you free time up, and we do it every week because we're nutters, right? But if
Am I not getting paid? Am I not getting a free bus pass for this?
Oh God! Did nobody tell him?
all over again.
You get a bathrobe.
The most
Oh yeah, like this. I get one of these.
Yeah, the most classic part for me tonight was the free bus pass. You know what? If you'd have said to me, right, okay, what did we get as a bonus? I don't think anybody would have, God, Wolves are winning. Oh, my God. I don't think anybody would have said a bus pass. Not anybody in the world, right?
Yeah. Well, that was part of the first contract. Yeah. Nick, just a quick, I've just remembered, Nick.
Yeah, go.
I've just remembered something I might still have tucked away is a cassette. On the A side, it's Louis Louis, and on the B side, it's something else. We sang it with the Rocking Berries at their studio in Moseley.
Who sang
before
it?
the final.
You did.
Yeah, there was me. There was about 5 of us and the Rocking Berries, and we sang on the. There's a cassette. Sorry,
I used to have it.
Get it.
I used to have that cassette.
Get it to us.
And then my car got stolen. And do you know something, Ian? This is an absolute true story. My car got stolen, and the 2 things that were stolen out of my car was that cassette and the other one from the Leyland Daft Cup final with Keep Right on the
that's the one. On the A side, it had Keep Right On, and on the B side, it had Louis Louis.
I have never, ever, ever, ever gained a copy of that cassette back. It was stolen out of my car. My car was returned to me intact. The only thing that was stolen was that cassette, and it was in the newspapers.
Maybe it was the Rocking Berries. They thought it was so bad, we can't put our name to it.
Oh, mate, ladies and gentlemen, Ian Clarkson, what an absolutely lovely bloke. Cracking.
Thanks, Ian. Been a pleasure, mate.
Yeah.
Later, fellas.
Cheers, Ian.
Cheers, guys. Thanks, Mark. Cheers, Paul. Thanks, Chris.
Cheers, Ian. Thanks, mate. Take care.
Take care.
Listen, Wednesday night, this is destiny. This is it. It's Wednesday night or bust. We're either going to be playing in the Championship next year or we're not. That's as absolutely true as it gets. Please, 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 if you're one of the people that are thinking of going to St Andrews on Wednesday night, do not break the rules. Do not break the rules, right? Because the EFL will be after us like a shot. Do not break the rules, right? Be sensible. Be sensible. Please, I'm begging you, right? I cannot even think of giving them the opportunity to have another go at us, right? That's my end message. Ian Clarkson, thank you so much for that memory. That 1991 memory. will never, ever fade in so many people's heads. Chris Brown, thank you very much. Paul Hipkiss, a.k.a. Mr. Sheen, thank you very much.
Good night, all.
And from Mr. Robe, thank you very much.
Goodbye.
And of
Take
course,
care.
our star guest of the evening, ladies and gentlemen, one and only Ian Clarkson. What a man, what a man, what a hit, what a man, what a legend. Yes.
Good night,
Cheers, fellas.
Bye.
Okay, so we'll see you next week. We may just do a show on Thursday for 10 minutes, right? We may. Or I might just go live on Wednesday night. I don't know, right? My head's all over the place. I'm going, try.
From the